I'm gonna catch Rayquaza, no Master Ball. What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Druzy. Welcome back to another video, and today we are gonna beat Pokemon Emerald without using any Pokemon Centers or Poké Marts. Before we get started, let me lay the ground rules for this run. Rule number 1, I can't use any Pokemon Centers. Rule number 2, I can't use any Poké Marts. Everything else is fair game. If I white out, I lose the challenge. Got it? Alright, let's get it. Okay, so right away I realized a couple things about this run. So obviously I can't use the Pokemon Centers to heal, but I also can't use the PC there either. Also, I can't buy Pokeballs, which means that I have to be very careful in choosing my team so that I actually end up with a team of 6. And obviously I can't buy healing items from Poké Marts, which means that my only form of healing, Pokeballs, TMs, and items in general are gonna have to come from other places. So the first thing I do is grab the potion from the PC because it actually matters this run. I go outside and save Professor Birch from a level 2 raccoon using the Mudkip in his bag. He gives me Mudkip and I name him Drip, for obvious reasons. I meet his daughter May, who I fight and almost lose to if it weren't for the potion I grabbed earlier. Now that I have no healing items, I immediately go back home to my mom, who heals up my Pokemon. And like I said, if it's not a Pokemon Center or Poké Mart, it's fair game. At this point, I realized that I would be going back home a lot to heal. I head back to Professor Birch's lab and May gives me 5 Pokeballs. Definitely the biggest gift we're given, and I'm gonna have to use them wisely. Also, berries are gonna be important since I can't buy healing items and they're the next best thing. I make my way to the Pellberg Woods and save some guy from Team Aqua Grunt. On my way out, I catch my first Pokemon of the run, Cinnamon the Shroomish. I decided to catch Shroomish since half of Hoenn is covered in water, so a grass type would be nice to have. And Drip evolves into Marshtomp. While getting ready to take on the first gym, I run into an Abra, which breaks out of the Pokeball and teleports away. I find another one and fail that one too, wasting 2 precious Pokeballs. I decided to ditch the whole catching Pokemon thing before I ended up with a final team of Swampert and a Super Mario power-up. I challenge Roxanne and lead with Cinnamon, who cleans both her Geodude with Absorb and then uses a Leech Seed Stun Spore strategy to weaken Nosepass for Drip to KO. But Cinnamon actually crits and KOs Nosepass by herself, winning us the battle and our first gym badge. I walk outside to find the same dude I helped earlier getting mugged again. On my way to save his job, I find a man crying about his Pico. I walk into Rusturf Tunnel, or as I like to call it, Whismur Cave, and handle business. The man, Mr. Briny, asks me to visit him, while the employee takes me to the president of his company. To thank me, the president asks me to deliver a letter to his son Steven. I fight May and we almost lose again. Jeez, we haven't even got to the third fight. On my way home to heal, I catch Rigby the Zigzagoon since I'm gonna need an HM slave after getting it down to the red and paralyzing it. Look, after the Abra incident, I wasn't taking any chances. I visit Mr. Briny, who sails me to Dewford, where people are too relatable. I get the HM for Flash, which I don't use, and while looking for Steven in Granite Cave, I run into another Abra. Kill yourself. I find Steven and give him the letter, then I waste no time and take on the Dewford gym. I lead with Drip since he didn't get much action in the last gym, and he 2-shots his Machop. Brawly then sends out Meditite, so I bring in Cinnamon to paralyze it, and I miss! Cinnamon goes down, and Rigby's absolutely screwed in this gym, so I bring in Drip to finish off Meditite. And now, it's down to Brawly's Makuhita. He goes for a bulk up as I mudshot him, then switch to Water Gun so Brawly won't heal, but Water Gun crits Makuhita, taking it out. 2 crits, 2 badges. I go back home to heal and then sail for Slateport. And this is where our healing problem gets solved. Kinda. After being the trainers inside the seashore house, the owner gives us 6 soda pops and then sells us more. I buy like 15, then head for the Slateport market, which was a lot less useful. It only had secret base stuff and overpriced drugs. I go back to Granite Cave to catch our next team member. No, not Abra, Zubat. I catch a Zubat and name it Kai, and then realize she has a calm nature which lowers her physical attack. And in Gen 3, all poison and flying type attacks were physical. Even though we're limited on Pokeballs, I wanted to have a strong Crobat since my other Pokemon's natures were pretty bad. So I catch another Zubat and name him Jay to continue the Ninjago reference. I had to keep both Kai and Jay on my team for the time being, and no, the PC at home only deals with items. I go to the Slateport Museum and save Captain Stern from Team Aqua. I give him the Devon goods and he heals us. On the route above Slateport, I find and catch our next team member, Sparky the Electrike. Like I said, 7.8 out of 10, too much water. At this point, I realize I have to grind. Eventually though, Jay learns a move with more than 30 base power and evolves into Golbat, and Cinnamon evolves into Breloom. And we one-shot May's entire team. Why was this the easiest fight? I get to the Mauville gym where Wally tries to prove himself. It was a short battle. After that minor inconvenience, I immediately take on the gym and challenge Watson, and Drip has a field day. Drip one-shots Watson's Voltorb, Electrike, and Magneton, but not his illegally underleveled Manectric, which barely survived. After another mudshot though, the battle was over. The third badge was ours. After beating the gym, I stop by the daycare, which I realize has a PC, This is huge because now I can swap out Pokemon when I need to, including my HM Slave, and I immediately box Kai the Zubat. And then I accidentally turned off my game and had to do the whole grinding thing all over again. After catching up to where I was, I sweep the Winston family, and after exiting Fiery Path, I find a sweet old lady who fully heals up my team, making this the second rest stop of the run. I make it to the Ashy route that everyone loves and leveled up Rigby until she evolved into Linoon. I'm so proud of you. Now you can learn Strength. Not long after, Sparky also evolved into Manectric. Okay, I'm actually proud of this one. After interrupting Team Magma and Aqua and Meteor Falls, I go to Mount Chimney where I fight Tabitha and the leader of Team Magma, Maxie. Maxie leads with Mightyena as I send out Jay, who is having problems, so I bring in Cinnamon to finish it off. I then send out Drip, who one-shots his camera by spitting on it, and Jay showed his Zubat what a real bad Pokemon's like. With that, we defeated Maxie, cleared out Mount Chimney, and on the way down, Jay evolved into Crobat. I make it to Lava Ridge and there find the biggest game changer of the entire run, the Lava Ridge Herb Shop. Here, I was able to buy the equivalent of Hyper Potions, Full Heals, and Max Revives at a much cheaper price. And since I wasn't spending any money in Poké Marts and I'd battled a lot of trainers up to that point, I had money to splurge. This shop was huge because it meant that I'd have consistent healing options and that I didn't have to go back home to heal. After buying half the store, I was ready to take on the Lava Ridge Gym and Flannery. As with the last gym, I opened with Drip, who easily one-shot her Numel and Slugma, then 3-shot her Torkoal, earning us the 4th badge and the TM for Overheat, cause you know my girl be giving out them good TMs. As I leave the gym, May says what's up and gives me the go goggles, so I head over to the desert and enter the Mirage Tower, where I find and catch our next team member, Trapinch, which I fittingly named Mirage. I also picked up the Claw Fossil, which I never used, but figure you might want to know since I'm already talking about the Mirage Tower. Anyways, I go back to Petalburg and challenge Leader Dad to come home. I lead with Cinnamon, who takes care of his Spinda and Linoon, while Sparky takes out his Vigoroth. But now it was time for the real battle, Norman's Slacking. This thing terrified me, so I planned a strategy specifically for it. I leech seed Slacking with Cinnamon, then safely bring in Jay while Slacking is loafing around and go for Confuse Ray. Slacking actually hurts itself in Confusion, losing its free turn as I go for Toxic, which I taught to Jay right before the battle. The combination of Toxic, Leech Seed, and Confusion damage allowed Jay to eventually take it out with Wing Attack, earning us our 5th badge. After the battle, Dad and I were having a father-son moment. Is that Surf? Drip, that's all you. Speaking of Drip, while battling some swimmers, he evolves into Swampert. After one of the longest routes of the game, I make it to the Weather Institute and clear out Team Aqua after beating Shelly. And then I realize that this is the best rest stop in the game. Not only do they have a bed that I can heal my team with, but they also have a PC right next to the bed. They also give me a cast form, which I boxed immediately, using their PC. To make things even better, the Weather Institute is right next to Fortree City, and after beating May outside, she gives us Fly. Speaking of Fortree, I make my way to the gym and challenge Winona. I lead with Sparky, who OHKOs both her Swablu and Pelipper with Spark. Look, I wasn't going to sit through the entire Thunderbolt animation. I do Thunderbolt her Skarmory though, which also goes down in one hit. Winona sends out Altaria, so I bring in Drip, who OHKOs it and Tropius with Ice Beam. And just like that, we earned our 6th and easiest badge. And now we could use Fly. Oh, healing is going to be so convenient now. Mirage evolves into Vibrava and we make it to Lily Cove for the last May fight in front of the department store, which we don't use by the way, it's basically a glorified Poké Mart. After the battle, I make my way to Mount Pyre where I catch our last team member, Vulpix. I name her Blue Star, and if you get the Warriors reference, I love you 9 times more. I evolve her into Ninetales with a Firestone I found in Fiery Path, then head back to Mount Pyre. I head back to Mount Chimney to see what Team Magma's cooking, infiltrate their base, and Blue Star single-handedly cleans out the entire base, Tabitha included. I get to Maxie, who messes up Groudon, then takes it out on me. And by it, I mean Mightyena, which barely survives an overheat from Blue Star. He switches into Camera Up to soak up another hit, and ends up soaking up a Surf to the hump. Jay finishes off Mightyena, and then Sparky takes out his own Crobat, defeating Maxie. Meanwhile, Archie steals Captain Stern's submarine, so I follow him to Team Aqua's hideout in Lily Cove. I snoop around Archie's quarters and grab the Master Ball, which actually might come in clutch since we don't have Pokeballs, we never use it. I get to the submarine and beat Matt, but Archie gets away, so I make my way to Moss Deep to take a break from saving the world to challenge what is by far the hardest gym in all of Hoenn. Not only is the level jump insane, but in Emerald, Tate and Liza have 4 Pokemon instead of 2. I lead off with Jay and Cinnamon. Now hear me out, I had a plan. The plan was to wear down Claydol and Xatu status. Was it a smart plan? No. Did I pull it off? No. Kind of. I don't know why I did this then, and I still don't know why I did this now. After that garbage choke, I bring out Drip to Surf as Jay goes down to a double Psychic. I bring out Blue Star as Drip finishes off Xatu and Solrock comes in. And then they tried to end my run. Solrock goes for Solar Beam, so I switch Mirage in to take it. Mirage eventually goes down, but so does Solrock. At this point, I'm down to my last 2 Pokemon and I just need to take out Lunatone. And Blue Star misses Overheat, which would have taken it out. But instead, Lunatone goes for Psychic, which almost takes out Drip. Thankfully, Lunatone heals with its Citrus Berry, which just puts it out of healing range, so I'm able to take it out with another Surf. Oh, an Overheat hit, but it didn't matter this time. I think this clip does a good job of summing up the battle. I goofed up. After almost losing the challenge in that mess, I fly back home on a dead Jay and heal ASAP like Rocky. There isn't much time for a break though, because I team up with Steven to defeat Maxie and Tabitha at the Moss Deep Space Center. To thank me, Steven gives me Dive, which I teach to Drip and accidentally go to Topless first. I eventually find the submarine in Team Aqua's hideout. I beat Archie to Kyogre, who then battles me. Cinnamon takes care of his Mightyena, my Crobat takes out his, and then Sparky was feeling some fish sticks, ending the battle. Archie then uses the red orb on the blue Pokemon, pisses off Shamu, and we resurface to greet the end of the world. Steven shows up and takes me to Wallace in the Cave of Origin, who makes me go to Sky Pillar, where I wake up Rayquaza to save the world. And after witnessing one of the greatest cutscenes, it's time to get my gym badge. Archie and Maxie disappear, Wallace gives me Waterfall, Steven gives me a high five, and I take on the final gym. I solve the ice puzzle first try, and instead of fighting the trainers for XP, I just take on one right away. He leads off with the Heart Scale, which Jay takes out after some annoying confusion. He then sends out his Ace Kingdra, and I bring out Mirage, which was a mistake. So this is usually a problem, but it shouldn't be. Oh no, it knows Ice Beam. I did not even think about that. Yep, that is one dead Mirage. Yeah, well, lives up to the name. I bring in Jay to Toxic Kingdra so that it doesn't sweep my team with Double Team. Jay was at about half health, so I knew that he'd go down to an Ice Beam. And he lives on 4 HP! I heal Jay back up as Kingdra gets the Water Pulse confusion, and Jay hurts himself as Kingdra goes for Double Team. Somehow though, Jay breaks through the confusion and the Double Team to land a Confuse Ray onto Kingdra. Unfortunately, Kingdra doesn't hurt itself in confusion and lands an Ice Beam, taking Jay out. Pour one out for the homies. I bring out Sparky, who finishes off Kingdra with a Thunderbolt, and then Cinnamon takes out his Celio, Whiscash, and Crawdaunt, earning us our 8th and final gym badge. And now, it's time for the Pokemon League. I make my way to Victory Road and immediately realize I'm gonna have to go back home to heal since Wally can't seem to leave me alone. He challenges me one last time, but this isn't the remake. While clearing out Victory Road, Mirage evolves into Flygon, making the whole team fully evolved, but that wasn't gonna cut it. My team was in the mid 40s except for Blue Star, who was level 39, and most of the Elite Four are in the 50s. So after a couple hours of grinding and upgrading some movesets, I went back to the Lava Ridge herb shop to sell all my unnecessary items and stock up on as many healing items as I could buy. And now, we were ready. Up first was Sydney, the Dark type Elite Four member. I lead with Cinnamon, who takes out his Mightyena and Absol, Sparky takes out Crawdaunt, and Blue Star obliterates Shiftry and Cacturne. 1 down, 3 to go. The next Elite Four member is Phoebe, who can communicate with ghosts and has one in her room. Mirage takes out both her Dusclops and both her Banette, yet they really weren't trying with the variety here, and Blue Star takes care of her Sableye. With that, Phoebe's done, and we move on to Glacia. It's Sparky time, baby. Glacia leads off with Celia, which I know is going to set up the hail, so I go for Rain Dance, which I specifically taught to Sparky. And now, playtime's over. Sparky unleashes a row of perfectly accurate thunders, taking out her 2 Celio and her first Glalie. The rain stops, so I'm able to switch into Blue Star to melt her second Glalie with Overheat. Now, it's down to her Ace Walrein. I bring Sparky back in and set up the rain again as she goes for Surf, which does a lot of damage. Sparky lives though, and goes for Thunder, OHKOing Walrein and defeating Glacia. The last Elite Four member is Drake, the Dragon type specialist. Drip Ice Beam sweeps Drake Shelgon, Altaria, Flygon, and Salamence while Mirage takes out his Kingdra. With the Elite Four defeated, I heal my team and make my way to the Champions Room, where Wallace is waiting. Wallace leads with Wailord as I lead off with Sparky. This was the battle that I'd prepared the rain strategy for. Wailord sets up the rain for me, and Sparky one-shots it with Thunder. Wallace then brings in Gyarados, and Sparky OHKOs it with the Thunderbolt. Look, I wasn't about to use the Thunder if I didn't need to. Sparky's sweep gets put on hold though as Whiscash comes in, so I switch out to Cinnamon, who takes it out with Giga Drain. The rain stops and Wallace sends out his Ace Milotic, which is a problem since it has Toxic and Recover. I bring Sparky back out and go for the Rain Dance because I have to, as Milotic goes for Toxic and misses. This is huge, so I take the chance to go for Thunder, but Milotic's special defense is so high that it barely does about 2/3. Milotic fires back with the rain boosted Surf, which almost takes Sparky out from full health, but Milotic's Citrus Berry heals it up to around half, just enough for Sparky to KO with another Thunder. Wallace sends out Tentacruel, another specially defensive tank, but I stay in with Sparky to get off another Thunder, which almost one-shots but doesn't. Sparky goes down to an Ice Beam, but I bring in Drip, who revenge kills it with Earthquake. And now, Wallace is down to his last Pokemon, Ludicolo. I bring in Jay and go for Sludge Bomb, which Ludicolo barely survives and to my disappointment, sets up a double team. Wallace heals, but Jay's not about to let Ludicolo get away with any scummy strategies, and lands his second Sludge Bomb, which again, puts it in the red. Wallace heals Ludicolo a second time, as Jay lands a third Sludge Bomb, but again, it barely survives. To my disbelief, Wallace heals Ludicolo a third time, but Jay lands his fourth Sludge Bomb and this time poisons Ludicolo, taking it out. Jay didn't miss a beat, and with that, we defeated Wallace and I became the new champion of Hoenn without ever using a Pokemon Center or Poké Mart. I sat back and enjoyed one of the most nostalgic end credits of any Pokemon game, then kept playing because we got stuff to do. So yeah, technically we beat the run, but I wanted to make this more interesting. The first thing I do is head back to Sky Pillar to catch Rayquaza without the Master Ball. Oh, also, I didn't have a status move on any of my Pokemon, so my strategy was to paralyze it with Sparky Static, which actually happened. And now, it was time to start throwing balls. Either given by people or just found on the ground, because obviously we couldn't buy anything. So I guess like those balls actually did come in clutch. 1, 2, 3. We got it! No way! No way! We got Rayquaza! Oh my goodness! I was shook. I didn't buy a single Pokeball in this challenge and was just using whatever was left over in my bag, and we caught Rayquaza in the 4th Ultra Ball we threw. And with that, there was just one thing left to do. Challenge the real champion of Hoenn, Steven Stone. I head to Meteor Falls and find Steven inside, and dang it, I forgot to use my rare candies. I had like 7 of those things. Steven opens up with a level 77 Skarmory, but despite being extremely underleveled, Sparky actually outspeeds and takes it out with 2 Thunderbolts. Steven brings in Aggron, so I send out Mirage, who also 2-shots it with Earthquake. And then Steven sends out his ace, Metagross. Metagross is a level 78 tank that hits like a truck. I knew that if it got an attack boost from Meteor Mash, it would absolutely sweep my team. What'd I say? And he crit. That's a 1.06% chance. I'm already at a massive disadvantage. I don't need that. I knew that I had to lower Metagross's attack, so I send out Blue Star to burn it. Okay, someone get that mana sandwich, because that's just baloney. I send out Jay to confuse it, but of course, Metagross breaks through the confusion and takes Jay out. I decide to try my luck with Leech Seed, and Cinnamon survives a +1 Shadow Ball. We still had a chance. After a bunch of healing, overheat, and switching, Metagross finally goes down to Leech Seed. And we're back in it, baby. Steven brings in Claydol, and after some screen stalling, Drip takes it out with Surf. I switched between Drip and Jay to PP stall his Cradily, and then Toxic stalled it with Jay until it went down. Finally, Steven sends out his last Pokemon, Armaldo. I Leech Seed with Cinnamon, confuse it with Jay, and after exchanging several attacks, Mirage barely survives a slash, and Leech Seed finally takes out Armaldo, winning us the battle. And that was that. We beat Pokémon Emerald, caught Rayquaza, and defeated Steven Stone, all without using a Pokemon Center or Poké Mart a single time. Looking back, there are definitely some things I learned about this run. Number 1, Mom is the MVP of this run. Hands down, no questions asked. Number 2, the Lava Ridge Herb Shop is stupid clutch. You can buy really good healing items there for cheap. Like seriously, I bought 200 revival herbs and this made this run so much easier. Overall, this was a fun challenge, and I think I'm going to do more of these. If you have any challenges that you want me to do, let me know in the comments below as I actually read through them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like, and if you like what you're seeing on this channel, please subscribe as it helps me out a lot. That's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.